Okay, so welcome to Coffee with the President. I'm here joined today with Sarah Perry from New American Funding and Jamie Haywood, the incoming president-elect for KCAR, and I'm Lori Sinclair, the current 2024 KCAR president. So welcome, Sarah. Welcome, Jamie. Thanks, you guys, for joining today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. So today I just kind of wanted to chat about and brainstorm about networking techniques. And Sarah, you are kind of an expert when it comes to social media networking. And I know that's something that we as brokers are always looking for tips and advice and ways to improve. Um, so anyways, did you have any sage advice that you wanted to get started with?
Yeah, so speaking of online, platforms, that is a way to, in addition to in-person networking, leverage online platforms. You could be leveraging LinkedIn, social media through, I know there's local hashtags, there's local groups, being involved, being, engaged in those conversations that are happening, providing any kind of value you can once you see them. You can join those local forum groups that I'm sure you see like on Facebook, but yeah, it's not limited. I've seen a new era of networking recently where people are really utilizing the direct message feature as well on Instagram. And I really want to also emphasize not to get discouraged on how many connections you're making and trying to engage with people because, you know, they say like say you send 50 DMs,
Hmm.
five turn into conversations, one turns into potentially a meaningful relationship, and you
Yeah.
guys really end up, hitting it off. Just like anything, right?
Yep.
In person networking, you go a couple times, you're not getting anything out of it that you seek. Well, that's also, I feel like, because we also need to make sure that we're setting clear goals for ourselves as well, whether that's online or before attending a networking event, engaging in setting up those goals of what your networking activities are to you hope to achieve once you go to that event.
Yeah.
You know,
Speaking of events, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was recently in kind of a networking class and they were talking about, you know, when you're out there at these networking events, we're so used to, exchanging cards or even using the electronic card exchange apps or what have you these days. But then we don't do anything with that information afterwards. And they were like, instead of doing that, why don't you say, hey, let's take a selfie and, take a selfie with the person and be like, what's your Instagram? And then sending it to them that way. And then you're automatically connecting with them. And it enables you to go in and start looking at their feed and begin interacting with them to help them start seeing you and interacting with you.
and building that genuine relationship that's potentially, that you can build. And it's
Right.
always important too to choose the right people. Not every
Yeah.
people, it's that's why we love, you know, being able to connect with so many people and finding our people and find those people who support our business and our cheerleaders and everything like that. So building genuine relationships is also important, like you said, that follow up and follow through.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
just going and taking those cards, but going on social media right after, adding them as a friend, sending them a quick
Yeah.
text, sending an email. Hey, it was really nice to meet you. And also making sure, I think another big point is really being a good listener and trying to have quality conversations with people, not just trying to grab as many cards as you can.
Right.
Having
Yeah.
those genuine, authentic conversations about yourself, about them, getting to know them. That's how those relationships happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I found too that, you got to kind of have a follow up plan. Like if you don't have a plan, then you're not going to be able to follow up, right? So,
Cool.
you know,
Clear goal.
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
got to kind of jot down what am I going to do? How am I going to execute this so that these people remember me? You know, oh, yay, Andrew's joining. Yeah. So I've started, you know, putting together a plan and like writing it down so that I can put it on my calendar because we all know if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist, right?
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
it's about home writing, right? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's there, you see it, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
job.
exactly. Yeah. Um, I know something that like I've started with this planning. So I've started developing a plan for like realtors that I've met at various events. What am I going to do right after I meet them? What am I going to do, a few weeks after I meet them? How am I going to keep reminding them of me? And then the same thing for, you know, people that I meet, because we all, hear, oh, you need to be adding, 10 new people to your database every week or what have you. And
Mhm.
so how just because their name is in your database or they're a friend on your social media or you're following them and they're following you or whatever doesn't mean that they're having any sort of memorable interactions with you. So you've got to kind of strategize about that, how you're going to create those memorable interactions.
And keep that connection alive,
Ex-
right? That initial connection you have with them alive. So yeah, like
right.
even if yeah, like you said, the database is important. Having those group of people, you're going to have different audiences, right? But it's great to
Hmm.
diversify your network. It's good to have industry related people on your network. It's good to have you know throughout the board because you never know. You don't need to limit yourself to an immediate field or industry. Expanding that also gives fresh
Right.
perspectives, new opportunities, unexpected connections. So
Absolutely.
also trying to get from them. And I think also a lot of the follow up can also incorporate what I would suggest is what's is there do they have anything recent, article wise that they like to share within their
Right.
specific industry or what's going, or do they have any questions about your specific field and
Yeah.
what's going on there? I know
Yeah.
there's tons of people who have a lot of real estate and mortgage questions. So, but it's
Yeah.
also here what's new with them, like what's going on in their industry or respective field that they feel, that you can educate others on the other side of your connections, you know.
Right. Yeah. And, all of those things that you just talked about, like if they have something interesting going on or, some interesting information that they're sharing, you going out and resharing their information, they appreciate that. And it helps both of you capitalize on one another's network.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And always give before you receive, right?
That's right.
Offer
That's right.
assistance, resources, and introductions to others and so forth.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, building that reputation over time. It just generous fosters goodwill and increases the likelihood for others to do the same for you, right? So
That's right. So, you've been doing so I mean, I first learned of you a few years ago when you were working, I think Alan Berry, you were working with Fairway and Alan. And that was my first introduction to you. And I started kind of following you then. But what would you say has been kind of the number one thing that you've done that has helped you, get to where you are now? Because I would say like your following has just really exploded, especially here within the last year.
yeah, I think also just being authentic, right, to
Yeah.
myself, I think is really important and professional. I love what I do, and I'm sure we all love what we do, and so I just do my best to share that education, to share, like I said, give. I give, and that really serves me, and that's just who I am. And so, you know, as I've gone out, and I think Kitsap County, we have so many networking opportunities here. There's tons of
Mhm.
network, events that I've gone to, grain drinks, KCAR events, chamber events. Oh my gosh, we have so much here compared to other counties. I
Yeah.
have a broad, I'm now regional marketing manager for New American Funding. So you have all of Washington State, I have
Yeah.
Oregon, multiple states, and I obviously look at those kind of things to, be able to refer to my teammates like, hey, like, these are the things that are going on.
Mhm.
I have so much here, and so I myself going to those events though, and being introduced, to you and so forth. I'm sure you saw I like to one of my follow up is I like to immediately add you like on
Yeah.
look you up on Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. It's a way for me to, showcase my professional um, background and everything that I'm doing as well. So you can be in the know of the next thing I do. Like yesterday, I just held a Google Business Profile workshop on
Yeah.
optimizing your business profile that realtors were invited to. So I'm hoping that you staying connected with me, you can still, pop into the next event that I have, or you really, you just stay connected and you can kind of see, like you said, you've kind of, you followed me through it all here in Washington, County. I moved here back in 2018. So that's when I was with my last company, and I couldn't be more grateful. I love this industry. I love this community, and just staying connected, like you said,
Yeah.
So that would be my tip: to be authentic to yourself and showcase that through everything you do. And I think that's going to get you where you need to be for sure. So
yeah, sage advice. I'm kind of hogging it. Jamie, do you have any questions for Sarah?
No, it was pretty enlightening to think before you actually attend a networking event to have a plan on what you want to accomplish. I just go to hang out and have fun. And just meet people. I've never really strategized what I want to accomplish other than just meeting people.
Yeah.
So that's helpful to be a little more intentional.
I was the same. And I went to this event, this National Association of Realtors event in Washington, D.C., just like a month ago. And I went there and I was like, I'm spending all of this money to be at this conference. And the idea behind a lot of these things is, well, you're going to expand this referral network, right? Well, how am I going to expand this referral network if I'm just picking up these cards and taking them home? Like, that's not going to do anything. These people are never going to remember me. Like, that card is going in the bottom of their bag, just like their card's going in the bottom of my bag. And so I started thinking about this. I was like, even the people that I did the picture and friended and followed and all of that, I'm like, they're not going to remember me. They're not going to remember where I'm at. Yeah, they might kind of watch me. I might fall out of their feed. Who knows? So I wanted to be sure that they knew who I was. And when they think of real estate in Washington, they think of me, and if they ever have any potential referrals here, I wanted them to think of me. So immediately when I got home, I did the thing that a lot of us do, is I wrote them the thank you note and I mailed that off. And it was amazing to me how many of those cards that I picked up, the people no longer have their mailing address on their cards. So I had to look up at least half of them. I had to look up their mailing address. And I was kind of like, that's something to think about. Like, if this is the first thing that a lot of people do when they get home is write those thank you notes, because I know that that's what we're told to do. You don't even have your address on there. You're not going to get that connection could be lost. So then I started thinking, well, now that I've sent these thank you notes, what now? So they have my card a second time, right? And they're going to be like, maybe I remember that girl from that round table, but I'm not sure, right? And where was she again? And so I started trying to think about what could I send to them that would show them where I'm at and help them identify who they might be able to refer to me, because these are other realtors that I'm talking to. So I kind of sat down and brainstormed, and I came up with a big letter. It was quite long to start with. I whittled it down, but I identified for them. I was like, these are the types of people that move to our area. And this is the area that I live in. These are the counties that we can service. And these are the cities within these counties, just so that people kind of knew, if they heard something when they're out, what am I looking at? And I sent them some statistics for the region. And I've gotten such an incredible response from that mail out. I never expected it, but I've had several people reach out back to me and be like, thank you so much. This was top notch. I'm going to keep your name. Because you never know when that referral is going to come up. So then I was like, well, I need something so that I keep in front of them. I keep reminding them, if you're thinking Puget Sound real estate, if you're thinking Washington real estate, think of me. And I let them know, hey, I'm active in the State Realtor Association. I have connections all over the state. If you think of Washington State, think of me, because I can put you in connection with someone that can help you, even if it's outside of my area. So now I'm like developing a postcard series. And, I don't want it to just be some brand postcard because that's boring. Nobody wants, a Sotheby's postcard, right? Who cares? That's not going to, yeah, exactly. That's not going to stick around. So I started looking online and developing kind of a Pacific Northwest type themed postcards. So again, it's kind of reiterating to them. So I think I'm going to start like monthly, sending them some sort of interesting postcard, whether it be a Pacific Northwest type thing or some sort of arty looking postcard. If I get a pretty postcard in the mail, I'll put it on my bulletin board. If I get something boring, I'll throw it in the trash. So something that is going to stick around in these people's mind. They look at that and they think, oh yeah, that's that realtor in Washington, and hopefully when that opportunity for that referral comes, they'll remember me. But I really think you have to have a plan, because otherwise people are doing the same thing that we're doing and just, who is this person?
And you're already making strides, Lori. You're already making strides with this plan you just mentioned.
Yeah.
And another way that you can even continue to enhance and, form that to be just an amazing follow-up plan is you're not just stopping your follow-up in the mailer. You're able to connect with them and say, hey, did you get my mailer? Did you find it valuable? Right. What would you like to see more of? What would you like, really engaging and also following up on a personal level, it's like making all those touches and you're really going to stay top of mind.
Yeah.
So, great job. That's awesome. That's really good insight to hear your plan. That's really cool.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So, and I think that we have to have those sorts of plans, we all have like our lead follow-up plans, or do we? I mean, I think that that's another thing. You got to develop those plans so that you are staying in front of people, you are providing some sort of value, and that it's not just relying on whether social media, feeds them your information,
For sure.
Multiple touches, multiple ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we hit on really the big essentials, honestly, with networking strategies, build genuine relationships, choose people, provide value. What does that look like within your follow-up? And of course, that third point, follow up and follow through.
Yes.
Right? So yes.
Yes.
That is really the strong emphasis and what you need to think about when you're creating that follow-up plan.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Awesome. I think this was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. Yeah.
Great. To the point.
Yeah. I love it.
I want to hear about Denise's t-shirt.
Denise, tell us about your t-shirt.
I've never seen Denise wear a t-shirt. Can she hear us?
I think so, but she's not really responding.
I wonder if you can unmute her.
Let's see.
She's on her phone. Maybe it's not working.
Hi.
There you are.
Hi, Denise. Tell us about your t-shirt.
Oh, maybe she doesn't have a microphone.
It looks like you're on your phone. Okay.
Oh. I know Zoom is a lot trickier on a phone.
Okay. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad that you came and joined us today. And I think that's it for today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great Friday.
Yes.
Enjoy the sun. Finally.
Yes. Yay. Warm summer. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.